Many thanks for staying with us. This is the Lagos segment of the conversation. And I'd like to remind you that the LTV Christmas Fair tagged LTV Maryland is ongoing here in our premises till the 31st of December, and that's for our children. And we also have the adult section at the back where mummies and daddies can come and relax, eat, drink, dance, and have so much fun. So till 31st of December, we are still here. Now to the business of the day. We are reviewing the Themes Plus agenda, and we're looking at education and technology. Today, now, over the years, education has undergone significant transformation here in Lagos, with the government placing strong emphasis on improving infrastructure, integrating technology into classrooms, and ensuring students are equipped with 21st century skills to thrive in a rapidly changing world. From programs like EcoExcel to the Skills Up Lagos initiative, the focus has been clear, that is, to prepare the next generation for global competitiveness. However, challenges persist, from bridging the digital divide to ensuring inclusiveness across rural and urban schools. So today we'll examine the successes, gaps, and prospects of this topic as we explore how Lagos has come in reforming its education sector through innovation and technology. And seated here with me is our friend of the house, an educationist par excellence, Mrs. Titilayo Solarin, a former Tutor-General and permanent secretary in Lagos State. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here again.
It's nice to have you here again.
It's really good to be here. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's start this way. As former Tutor-General and permanent secretary in the education sector, how would you assess the current state of the education sector here in Lagos as of today? How would you rate it?
Yeah, thank you very much. Of course, I will rate it very high. And I mean very high. Looking at what Lagos is giving the society. You have mentioned some reforms like the EcoExcel. It's a wonderful
Fantastic,
one. Yeah. Yes. Then the digital improvement in our schools. I will always recall the period of COVID-19 when all schools were closed. I want to tell you that Lagos State schools were physically closed, but work was ongoing because of the preparedness of Lagos State to meet that particular challenge. And apart from that, in area of recruitment of teachers, Lagos had never stopped. Lagos State had never stopped in recruiting teachers. As some are moving out of the system through retirement and all that,
another set is coming.
So in Lagos State, all our schools, they have qualified teachers. And we place high premium on professionalism. And I think that should be noted. So in Lagos State, I will rate us very high, particularly the present administration. In area of teachers' welfare, I should go there. Lagos State government, through the present administration of Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, introduced what we call Teachers' Merit Award, whereby teachers that excel were, moved out, brought out, and they were given cars. I'm sure your station must have cars.
Yes, we are aware of that.
At least I witnessed 2 editions before I retired. I always say it. The first edition was, I think, 2020. The other one, 2021, 2022. And in each edition, 13 cars were given to teachers. Wow. It had never happened. The second edition, the same 13 cars were given to teachers. And that's why we always say that the first edition, my district, then district 1, we had just 1. But the second edition, out of 13 cars, we had 5 cars. So that, I always remember that. And I always say kudos to Lagos State government. I've never read in any other state where such had been done. It's only in Lagos State. So Lagos State is education in Lagos State is rated high, and I'm very happy to be part of it.
I like the fact that you talked about the cars. For
Teachers
the
Merit Award.
Yes,
I always say
Teachers Merit Award.
Everywhere I go, I will talk about teachers.
So what does it do to the morale of teachers or those ones that did not win?
Great encouragement for those that have won, you know. And for those that are yet to win, it's something to strive for and say, okay, I too, I want to win something like this. You know, I must mention that even at education district level, these kind of things are being done. Though it may not be CAS, but some also do CAS. You know, within the education district,
okay,
and within the Ministry of Education. So it is a tradition in Lagos State to commend those that are doing very well. It's a tradition, and I think I should let everybody know that we commend those that are doing well. You know, the reward of what? The reward of hard work is more work. So when you commend people, they want to do more and to, you know, to make the society a better place. Okay,
let's look at training of teachers now by the state government. The Co-Excel has been lauded, you know, as a revolutionary teacher training and digital learning initiative. So from an educationist point of view, what impact has this program had on teachers, and what were the learning outcomes for them?
Yes. First, I must say that the introduction of a Co-Excel has actually changed the view of education in the state, particularly in the primary school section, because that's where, hitherto, there was nothing like that. You just go to the class, A is B, D. But now, with a Co-Excel, great number of teachers have been trained on how to use these tablets given to them. And you know, the children of today, they are this computer compliant. Seriously,
they don't need any training.
That is it. So you teachers, if you are not ready, you'll be left behind. And in order not to be left behind, that is why Lagos State has introduced a Co-Excel, and the outcome has been great. The students are performing very well, and the ones we are now having in secondary school are much better than the one we used to have, in that they have been trained, the teachers have been trained, the children, the students, the pupils have gained a lot from it. So, and you can see one of the great outcomes of that is that in international competitions, our students are doing very well. I will particularly mention robotic competition. Almost every year, we have representatives of students from Lagos State representing Nigeria. Do you get that? Representing Nigeria. So this is the outcome of the reforms we have in education sector in Lagos State. And as I always say, I'm always very proud to be part of it.
But this training, is it also extended to teachers, in the rural part of Lagos? Do they also have this opportunity?
Is there anywhere you can call rural in Lagos State?
There is.
No, sincerely, yes. I will not want to mention some areas which you think, but they are not rural areas now. I've worked in about 4, I've worked in District 1, 2, 3, 5. Badagry end, I've worked there.
I didn't say Badagry is rural.
No. I'm just telling you. Ekpe end, I've worked there. Bejuleki. These are open cities now. So I want to tell you that all the teachers from those areas they are part of it. And I must also mention that even in the secondary school, Teaching Service Commission is doing a lot about training too. We've been talking about Co-Excel, which is LASUBEB. Now I must also mention that TESCOM is doing a lot about training for those that are just being recruited and for teachers that are already in the system. Training is something we do regularly in Lagos State because you can't afford to be left behind. And that is why I must also mention that the last but one Martina Teacher of the Year award was won by a teacher in Lagos State, Adeola Adefemi. You know, if you are not compliant, if you are not open to happenings around you, you can't come out to win such an award. So what I'm saying in essence is that both primary school and secondary school level, all our teachers are being carried along in the area of training, and we are getting the reward for it.
Okay, so how accessible are these gadgets, you know, especially for the students now? You know, how accessible are they, you know, for first, every child to have their own tablets to work with? Yes.
Yeah, I must let you know that the EcoSL tablets are available to everyone. You know, every time we see them, every time you see teachers holding one and the students are with them. Let me also bring you back quickly to the period of COVID-19.
Yeah.
Schools were given so many of these, what do you call the tablets to use. So individual students have it. And I'm sure, because we emphasize it then, that it's not something you use and throw away. You will be accountable for it. So all these are very accessible to our students.
Okay.
And I also want to mention that even in individual schools, particularly with our SS3, they always have, every weekend, they have this coaching on working on the computer for computer-based tests. Yes. And if you don't have it, you cannot do it. So, and this has been helping our ECO result, really.
Okay. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, this conversation will continue.
Okay.
Please go. And thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the Themes Plus agenda of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and we're talking about the third pillar, which is education and technology. Still here is our guest, Mrs. Titilayo Solarin, the educationist and former permanent secretary, Tutor-General, Lagos State. I want to talk about vocational and tech training. You know, how is this now crucial with the introduction of this? How is this crucial to the shift in preparing students for future job markets?
Yes, thank you very much. I like that question because recently I attended LASVEB graduation program, and I was able to see that the technical education had gone beyond what we used to think. Now these students are well equipped to face life, to solve life's problem, to solve the immediate problem of their area. You can see, I was also at the graduation of Kesintin Adebutu Vocational Center because they partner with LASVEB. And there I saw young ladies that are professionals in plumbing. Can you believe that? Bricklaying, electrical and electronic and all that. And I said, this is very good. This is to tell you that in Lagos State, emphasis is laid on vocational training. And I want to give kudos to the education secretary at LASVEB, Ms. Ronke Aziz. She's doing a lot of work there. And I want to also emphasize that vocational training is very important. Note that we also have another agency that does something similar. Agency for Mass Education. They also have vocational centers. Generally in Lagos State, even apart from education sector, there are other ministries that have vocational training. Because we all realize now that every time I think about it, how can somebody have 6 years of secondary education and at the end of the day, you don't have any skill to show for it? But that is not the case now in Lagos State, because For every student in Lagos State, you must have a skill before you finish your 6-year education. I must let you know that even in education districts, during the holidays, we always organize vocational programs for our students, whereby we bring in professional fashion designers, shoe making people to teach our children. And you won't believe it, the long holiday period of 2 months or so, what they would have learned, what we usually exhibit their work at the end of the day.
But what about some parents who still do not believe in this vocational
We just have
training?
to make them understand. Like in my case, all my children emphasize that they must have a skill. One is into gele tying and makeup. Another one learned bead making. My boy learned photography. I insist, because you must have a skill. You just must have it. So I always tell parents, you know, we are in the better position so I always use myself as an example. My children have learned this too. Why can't you allow your children? It will bring in something for you. So it's very important. And I'm also appealing to parents during the holidays, not during the school time, because you know, this is what some parents do. After school hours, go and learn hairdressing. You can't afford to put to, how do they say it in images, you know, no, you can't do that. You will distract your children. So in my case, during the holiday, that's when my children learn all these things. So I want to appeal to parents, during the holiday, let your children learn one skill or the other. It is very important. Hairdressing, it will bring in little money. Shoemaking, I mean, how many shoes are being imported now? Shoemaking, let your children learn how to do that. Bead making, we ladies, we love bead. I love bead. I don't use chain. So this is bead. Yes, I love beads. Let your children learn how to make beads. It will go a long way. So in Lagos State, I want to emphasize that vocational training is taken seriously.
Okay, since we're looking at education and technology, you mentioned something earlier about the STEM fields. LASUED and LASUSTEC, you know, what strides has Lagos State made, you know, in higher education, you know, particularly with the STEM field? I want you to expatiate on that.
Okay, first we must appreciate the present state government to have introduced or established those institutions, or maybe metamorphose, whichever way. Yeah. This is just to further make the society to be well equipped, particularly our children. Every day we talk about no employment. And some people will tell you that.
Anything for us.
Some people will also tell you that some of these graduates are not employable.
True.
So, you know, so we have to be mindful of that. In order to make our children, graduates, employable, that is where you have this LASUSTEC, so that these children will learn practical work there, which will make the society a better place. We can't afford to do things the usual way we've been doing it. What have you gotten from it? So, to me, the introduction or the establishment of those higher institutions is a great plus for Lagos State.
Okay. Let's look at out-of-school children. I know Lagos State government is doing everything possible to ensure that all children are in school. So I'd like you to rate, you know, the out-of-school children. What is it like in Lagos State?
Well, first, you cannot rule it out completely.
Of course, we still have, but not as much.
Especially Lagos State, that people keep coming in every day. Nevertheless, look at LASUBEB. Their slogan is "Leave no child behind." I remember a time a lot of these out-of-school children were, you know, gathered together and were given free school bag, free uniform,
socks, everything
from SUBEB. And that's Lagos State. So a whole lot is being done to ensure that we reduce the number. drastically as much as possible. But
what needs? What more can be done?
What more can be done? You know, there's always room for improvement.
Yes.
And I want to appreciate Lasube and the present chairman there for a great work that they are doing there.
Okay. Let's look at parent support and, of course, the community now. You know, when we're talking about education, how important is parents' interest, you know, in sustaining education reforms? Because we still have some parents who still believe that no, they don't need to go to school. They will hawk. They will start business. At least they didn't go to school. Their mother did not go to school, and they made it. So, how important, you know, is a parent's support and the community in ensuring that, you know, the child needs to go to school?
You see, first, I always tell people the impact of parents in the life of a child speaks a lot. Then, the parents must always be ready to support the school system. Not working against it. By the time you start telling me, I didn't go to school, and I want to tell you, during your time, did you face the same challenges these children are facing now? So there must be basic education, and that is very important. And that is why you and I and every other, let's talk to parents.
The schools, they have PTAs? Where
Parents Forum, we have Parents Forum in Lagos State.
Okay.
And we usually call Parents Forum, we talk to them. I remember there was a time when I was in District 1, I had to call the Parents Forum and say, if we call you, you don't come, how would you know what we are giving your children? And because education is also free in Lagos State, they believe Lagos State government should do everything. No. Be ready to support. I will always emphasize this. When my children were in nursery, primary school, the teachers know me because I will always be there. What can we do for this school? How can we support? Even that time, we were supporting to build this, renovate this, give fund to the classroom, and all that. And I want to appeal to the parents of today. Let us support government. The government cannot do it alone. They are doing a lot, but they cannot do it alone. Support. The Parents Forum should rise up in whatever way they can partner with our schools, with our government. Please do so, because it's for the betterment of our children. That does it.
Okay. Still talking about support now. The community itself, you know, plays a pivotal role. How can they also support children in going to school, start leaving everything to government?
Yeah, you are right. The community must also rise up to support. You know, I will always use an example that I particularly saw. When I was in District 1, there is a group of members of this Parents Forum. Every morning, they move around the community. Any child that is not in the school, they take, go, this is your school, go there. And they also caution parents, you can't put a tray and say, go and hawk in the morning. That's what we are going to eat. If they don't hawk, that is not right. It is not right. So the community must also rise up to help the schools. They can do a lot, and I have to say this, apart from Parents Forum, the community, any school that is within the community, I always tell the community, this is your school. Take ownership. When you take ownership of the school in your community, the school will do very well, because you must be concerned about the teachers in the school, the students in the school. At the end, like end of the year like this, what can the community do for that school, for the students, you know? These are some of the areas where intervention can come in.
Okay. We're looking at the schools now, the structure itself. A lot of renovations have been going on. I'm aware about 1,400 schools have been, you know, rehabilitated in Lagos State. How much impact does what's this called now? How much impact does a conducive environment work for children in schools?
That's a very good question, because when you have a classroom that is overpopulated and the children, a seat that is meant for 2 6 are sitting there, it cannot become
You even see
conducive.
some schools,
Not in Lagos State.
yes,
Not
outside
in
Lagos,
yeah, yeah.
where there are no benches.
The students sit on the bare floor.
floor.
Some will use block and sit on it. Thank God it's not in Lagos State. I will say that again and again. yeah, I've been in the system now. What is Scripps doing, you know? School rehabilitation committee, we have it, and they are doing a lot of work. You see, when an environment is conducive, it will draw students to school. Then this issue of out of school or retention will be out of it, because they come to school. They know that when they get to school, they have chairs to sit. The environment is good. Look at Vetland Junior Grammar School, the containerized classroom they built for them.
Yeah.
With this, what do you call it, the interactive board. That's in Lagos State now. So when the environment is conducive, I'm proud to say it.
I can see it.
I'm very proud to say it. When the environment is conducive, students will want to come to school. They'll be so happy. Go to Vetland or any of our schools, ask them, how are you enjoying? They say, mommy, this is good. Thank God. God bless Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. That is it. So, in Lagos State, you mentioned 1004. I will say plus. Yeah, plus. The government is doing renovation every day. The benches, desks, teachers, furniture, a whole lot. A whole lot of money is being spent on education in Lagos State. And that is why you always have peace in Lagos State. Teachers will not go on strike because the government is doing a lot in our school. You know, it's not only for students. Even teachers, when they have conducive environment to work, they will be able to do a lot. And some will say, this is really good. Why am I running out? Why am I leaving the classroom? Or where am I sneaking out? When the environment is conducive. So in Lagos State, I'm happy to say that our schools are in conducive environment, and the students are the better for it, and the teachers too.
I'm sure the environment and the curriculum, you know, are at par.
They work together.
They work together.
I must also mention that the government has reviewed Lagos State curriculum.
I was going to ask that question. How often you know, is the curriculum being reviewed? Almost
every 3 years.
Oh.
If not less, because I know before I left the service, it was reviewed and we have it in our school. So regularly, even there are other ones, apart from the published ones, probably out of...
Have they brought history back?
History back in.
Okay.
Interestingly,
why was it even taken off in the first place?
Was it taken off at all? That's the question. And I think that is the question we must keep asking ourselves. And people ask me, I say, why are you saying they've taken history? The question is this, or probably the issue is that we have fewer students taking history.
So history was not taken out of the
It was not. I can
curriculum?
say that categorically.
In Lagos?
I can say that categorically because I know that when I was teaching, history has been there. The issue, as I said, is very few students are taking history now. For instance, CRS, you will see probably 200 students. History, it may be 10.
Oh.
It is that.
And that was one of my favorite subjects when I was in school.
The same thing with me now. Even some of our science students, they'll be calling us Mansa Musa.
Yeah, some guy empire. Empire.
Mansa Musa. Well, but we thank God. So I think the issue is that fewer students have been taking the subject. So, well, if you say it's fully back in quotes.
Well, it was made, during my time, history was made compulsory for all the arts students, not sciences.
No, arts, of course.
Of course, for all the arts students. But I found out that even in some schools, not public schools, some private schools, history is compulsory, whether you're a science or you're an art student.
Yeah.
I think history should be made compulsory before.
Because if you don't learn the history of your environment, what are you going to build on? Nothing. And that's the problem we are having now. You see, when we have fewer students taking history, that means fewer teachers.
Exactly, for history.
That's the meaning. So I think teachers of history should be encouraged. In one way or the other, we can do it. They should be encouraged, and the students should be encouraged to take that subject. It's an interesting subject.
Very
really.
interesting.
Very, very interesting.
Okay, in your opinion now, is the Lagos State education system adequately addressing youths for realities of today?
In all ramifications, Lagos State is doing that. You see, that is why I always emphasize on vocational training. If a state is putting a lot of money on vocational training, along with academics, you realize that they are doing a lot. See, we have not even mentioned area of sports.
Sports, yeah.
It's part of building
Education, yeah.
It's part of building a child to what it's going to become in future. I always emphasize on area of sports because you see, these children, they have a lot of talent in them. Whichever way, whatever way you can do to help unleash, be ready to do so. And that is why in Lagos State, all aspects of education, they are being taken care of for the betterment of the society and Nigeria as a whole.
All aspects of learning. We've talked about, everything Lagos State has done in the area of education and technology, but there are challenges. So from your from your experience as a teacher, what are the main challenges?
There will always be challenges
that we're
still
still facing in the education sector here in Lagos.
There will always be challenges, but there's room for improvement.
Yeah.
Okay, area of population.
But that one, you can't control it. Lagos State government cannot control it.
So will you call that a challenge or something we have been living with?
And we will continue to live with. Yeah.
So that is it. Then parents, I want to talk about the issue of parents. Our parents should pay more attention to their children's education.
Yeah. Some parents just leave their kids in school and don't bother.
This, what do you call it, free education that is supposed to be a great plus for parents. Some of them are abusing it. Once upon a time, I remember my mother vividly, the list of books. You remember they give us list of books. My mom would take us to Agbeni. That's why you have bookstores there. And she will buy all the books. The ones your brother have you, they would have marked it.
That you still
remember
can come
now,
back and use
the
that
rest. But parents of today, I don't even think they know the way to bookstore again. So parenting is a major issue. So parents should rise up.
When we say education starts from the home.
Oh, it starts from the home. So parents should rise up to help to educate these children from home. So when they get to school, they will be better children. And you must equip your children. If you don't equip them, you think the teacher should buy textbook for your children? Yes, now if you don't buy textbook for your, when you see a student that will just put, what do you call it, exercise book
in the back pocket, said he's going to school.
He's going to school.
What is he going to learn?
A child is going to school, no school sandal, no school bag. I wonder what manner of parents we have nowadays. So you see, parenting is a major issue. They should support the government. They should support this. They should help their children if they want the future of their children to be better than their own. And that's always our prayer anyway.
Okay, as we round off today's conversation, it's clear that education and technology are not just tools for development, but lifelines for the future and everything thriving in the society. Thank you very much, Mrs. Titilayo Solarin. She's the former Tutor-General Permanent Secretary and educationist here in Lagos State, and we've been reviewing the themes plus agenda. Today we're looking at the third pillar, which is education and technology. We'll go on a short break now. When we come back, the conversation continues.